We are due for a story time about why you should never use PODS as your moving company. We made a mistake, a grave mistake. You can learn from our mistake. For some context, we lived in Atlanta and we were moving to New York City, and we needed some sort of a shipping container to hold our stuff in until we were ready to unload it in New York. There was zero transparency about pay, zero transparency about timeline, and it has been fighting with them to get anywhere, and now we're just taking the L, I guess. So PODS has something called city service. When you're moving to and unloading in a big city, you have to schedule separately what they call city service. It was never explained to us exactly what city service was, just that it was scheduled separately through a separate phone line. Here's the big part. You have to pay extra for city service because your driver stays on the truck parked wherever on the street as close as they can get to your building. And if you exceed a certain amount of time, I think it's 4 hours, you start paying hourly for that driver to be sitting on the truck. So didn't know that when we booked city service. We just thought that it was like a separate phone call that you had to book your delivery. Learned after from one of my girlfriends that they used PODS and their city service was so horrific that the driver would not get close to their building. He parked blocks away. So her movers were carrying all her boxes and all her furniture for blocks. Her husband ended up moving with them, obviously, because they're not watching them move and struggle this entire time. They had to pay extra because it took so long. Again, they're blocks away, and they're carrying dollies over Brooklyn sidewalks that if you've ever been here, you know that that is not an easy feat. You might as well be carrying it through a forest. So I hear this horror story and I call PODS and I'm like, look, we want to send our movers to you, to the warehouse, and they will unload on their truck and then they will park wherever they want. I'm gonna make this as brief as I possibly can, but the back and forth of getting our movers there was, I can't even tell you how many hours we spent on the phone just scheduling that appointment. Another thing about timeline is that we were told when we booked that I said, how long do you need from the time that we say, okay, get our stuff that was in storage in Atlanta to New York? 4 days. No, it was not 4 days. And we only learned that when we got our apartment, signed our lease and said, okay, we need our stuff here. I think I even gave myself like 6 days, 10 to 14 days. So we were about to be in an empty apartment with a toddler, no bed, nothing. After countless hours on the phone with them, I finally just get so fed up and so frustrated. I posted the briefest story on Instagram saying PODS is not it. That's when they reached out to me and said, oh my God, what can we do to fix this? And got us scheduled, not exactly when we needed, but a hell of a lot better than it was before. They only cared when they were being publicly shamed. So PODS, I hope you like this. And here's one of the best parts. When we packed up our stuff in Atlanta, me and my husband were at our empty house. Everything is in the pod, ready to go. We had professional movers. We're just waiting for the PODS truck to come and pick it up. If I only had a video of this. How they put the pod on the truck to take it away is essentially this big like cage system that comes down over the pod, picks it up and puts it onto the bed of the truck. When they picked ours up, it went doosh, doosh, doosh. We literally were sitting there being like, I hope that's packed tightly because holy shit. Moving day comes, our movers go to their warehouse to go and unload our pod, and guess what? Bet you can't guess, they can't get it fucking open. Because when it went doosh, everything slid into the door, something was stuck, the door would not open. We have paid for our dog to go to a dog sitter, so we're not moving with our dog. We've paid for extra hours for our daughter to be at daycare. And our movers are now there, just waiting. And a move that should have taken them, let's say 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever it was, half a day, they had another move after us. Hours are going by with our movers just sitting there and PODS cannot get it open. And me and my husband are back and forth with PODS. What can we do? So they say, we can put it on a crane and we'll tilt it back to try to get everything away from the front, but you now have to sign a waiver that says if anything's broken, it's not our fault. You didn't make us sign a waiver when you picked it up and tilted the whole thing back. So now we're gonna be on the hook for something that you did. Okay, we're at such a standstill with them that we're like, fine, just do it. Just tilt it, we don't care. Because again, we need a bed to sleep in and we're paying our movers to just sit there. So they tilt it. Movers said that it was like horrific to watch. Try to open the door again, can't get it open. Okay, now what do we do? Calls with PODS. And they say, okay, we can give you a saw to cut open the container. But one, we're not liable for any damage. And two, you are liable for the damage of the pod. So now I'm paying for your pod that I have to cut open because of the way that you've handled it. And again, we're at a standstill. What is our choice here? We can't get it open. Okay, do the saw. Then they say, oh, we won't do it. Your movers have to do it. Our movers are on the phone with us saying like, we're not comfortable doing this, but we will, I guess, because what else are we gonna do? And by the grace of God, our movers, I don't know what type of like Herculean type of strength that they came up with, but they got our pod open without using the saw. They said everything came spilling out and we get it. Now we're paying for our initial move, obviously, and the overtime incurred for them to be there for a full day. They didn't show up at our apartment until 5 p.m. I was walking home from daycare with my daughter and I see the PODS truck pulling up. Also, our movers were fucking incredible. Perfect Moving in New York. If you need a moving company that you can trust, 10 out of 10, hands down, would use them every single time we move. Now, because I posted on social media, PODS has like tried to make it right. They refunded us for some rent because I think since it took so long to get our pod to New York, it had like a billing date come, so they refunded us for that. And they say to us, send us any of your damages, we'll refund those, and send us your extra time incurred for your mover. Which now they are refusing to pay, just blatantly ignoring the fact that they said that. I think she said our position stays the same, that they're trying to act like the extra rent that they refunded is in place of the moving company. I don't know. I'm not kidding when I say that it was the worst, most stressful. Moving is already stressful. Moving across the country is already stressful. Add in a toddler is even more stressful. It was the worst experience I could have imagined with a moving company. So anyway, we're not doing pods, guys.